What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to be replacing my clutch and my slave cylinder on the Z. Like I told you in the previous video, I'm having some issues with my clutch pedal. Once I release it, sometimes my clutch will grip high, sometimes it will be low. So I believe that the master is just going out, or maybe it's not going out. Maybe it's just stage 4 clutch is just too much pressure, I guess, for it. I don't know, one or the other. Anyway, I did pick up a wilwood master and just Nissan OEM slave cylinder along with a braided steel line. I'm going to be replacing both units, and I'm going to be getting rid of the hard line that runs through there, because the way it's set up now, which I'll show you here in a minute, you're not going to be able to run your OEM line that goes through your firewall and down by the wheel well, because the setup is a little different, and where it hooks up, it's just not going to work. Let me show you what I got, and we're going to get started. I already opened the box. I couldn't wait to do it on camera, so I did it. Here's some of the stuff that I picked up. I got some fluid. Here is the braided line that comes with the kit, and all this comes, you can pick it up as a, I guess a bundle. So it comes with the slave and the master, and it's pretty cheap. It's 250 bucks. I think it's well worth the money. And like I said, I already opened it. Here's the new piece. It looks pretty nice. They do have a billet bracket to adapt to your firewall, and it has a NA line for your reservoir. So basically it will be, let me turn some light on. This, where's it at? So it's right down in that corner where this line goes from the reservoir to there. So basically it's gonna go, now the line's gonna be running from here to the reservoir. It's no longer gonna be attached the way it is on the OEM setup. And it has a banjo bolt. They'll go into this fitting, and they'll run down to your slave. Here's the banjo fitting. It comes with a couple clamps, a banjo bolt, 2 gaskets, and the other side looks just like it does on the OEM setup. And here's the brand new slave cylinder. Boom. Japan. That's what we like to see. I also got some gear fluid for a differential, because I installed a 2-way diff, and it's been a couple 100 miles since I changed the fluid on it. The plan is to go ahead and get this off and get the new one installed. I'm gonna get some tools, get it all set up, and jack the car up, drain the fluid, and start pulling that off. So the car is jacked up now. I got some jack stands under it, and I'm going to get under it and disconnect the line so all the fluid can just drip down for now. And I'm going to disconnect it here at the bottom, and it's a 14mm socket. I'm going to pop that off. I'm gonna pop this cap off. There it goes. And there she goes. Starts going down. Right now, I'm gonna go ahead and remove my wheel, and I'm gonna remove my inner wheel well plastic cover, because that's where the hard line comes through. So let me get that done, and I'll show you where it's running. And here it is, guys. Here is this line that I'm gonna be replacing. So basically it runs all the way up. Whatever this block does, we're not gonna be using this. And it goes right up in there. And that's where it comes through to go to your master cylinder. I'm gonna go ahead and loosen up these bolts, loosen up this clamp, and start taking this out. Or all of these are a 10 millimeter. And I'll probably just leave one on so we can break these, both of these lines off of here. That way we can slide it through the top to that little hole. Not really sure which way it goes up or comes down. We're gonna find out. You guys are also, also 10. I just broke them loose. They were kind of tight, but not too bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop them off. I actually went ahead and removed everything because it was kind of difficult to work with one hand and remove the parts, but I'll show you exactly what I just. You guys saw this valve, whatever this thing is. If somebody wants to comment below, let me know what this is. We took this off. We got the lines disconnected from both sides of it. Here's a little update for you guys. I was able to get the hard line from the master off. If you can see it, it is right over here, and it goes right down to that fitting. And I was able to unscrew it with no issues. It was pretty easy. But to gain access, I did remove my reservoir from right over here, just so I can get my hand in there with no issues. And here's the reservoir sitting right there. It was kind of dirty inside, so I want to take it out and flush this hose. Basically unscrewed from there the wheel well you guys already saw, and I did have to pop these two connectors off just so we can wiggle this out of here with no issues. All right, and there it is. Next thing, go inside and take the pin off in the cabin. Take the pin off for the pedal and remove the hardware from the insides. Let me get set up and I'll show you what that looks like. And millimeter nut right here, and there's one on the other side. That one's kind of hard to see, but it is, come on, it is right over here. So there it is, straight ahead. And I already went ahead and removed the safety clip and the pin that goes through the pedal. So that is out, which goes right over here. So pretty self-explanatory on that one. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove these two nuts and try to go outside and pull this master out. Hopefully it doesn't give me too much trouble. I'm trying to get you guys so you can see it better. It's kind of tight in here, so it makes it difficult to hold the camera and video and work. So I apologize for that, but and it's easier to get to this nut if you go ahead and push your pedal. I guess push the pedal in. That's a little bit easier to get your socket down there. And you do guys want to use the deep weld 12 millimeter, just because those studs stick out so far in, so you can't use the short socket. You got to have the deep weld. So like you see, there's one up there and there's one over here. So let me try to go ahead and pull that out, see what happens. And there it is. Here are here are the new parts. So here's the new one. Just a little comparison to both. They're both about the same size, just a little different setup. And here's what I was talking about. So on the OEM setup, you have your hard line coming in into here and goes down to your slave cylinder. And then the new one, it actually points out, so a little bit different. That's why you can't run your hard line anymore. You do have to go to your braided line, so which will come in your kit. So this will just be, you know, turn whichever way we need to turn once we install it. But they're about the same, similar in size. And now instead of having your, you know, reservoir going straight into here, it'll be hooked up to this AN fitting, and we're probably just gonna have to go and trim this hose a little bit to make it fit. And here's just, you know, here's the two hard lines. Here are the two hard lines that are removed from the wheel well. So here those are. I did have a braided line for the clutch slave cylinder that I, you know, replaced a while ago, because the OEM one is just a rubber one. And here's this valve that not really sure what it does, but I doubt we're gonna need that. I'm gonna go ahead and start reinstalling it. I'll probably maybe remove this, just put a little Teflon tape on the threads. I just don't want it to leak. All right, here's the new unit is installed. So that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. That is in, and like I said, I put a little bit of tape on the threads just to make sure it's not going to leak. And then once we put the fitting back in, we'll point it the way we need to meet the reservoir hose. And it is already all tightened down inside. Both nuts are in there installed, and I reinstalled the pin that goes through the pedal. Can I show you? Right over here, you can see with a safety clip in it. So for now, I just adjusted the master cylinder for a slip fit with a pedal hole. But if we need adjustment, I'll have to drive and see if I have to bring the pedal in a little bit. So I'll find that out on the test drive. The reservoir is now reinstalled. I put that back, and I did end up trimming the hose a little bit to fit on that AN fitting, so you can tell in there. And I do recommend getting the hard line where you can see the banjo bolt started before you installed the master cylinder, because it is such a tight spot where it's very difficult to get the crush washers and get it threaded on. So if you guys are doing that, I recommend just get it hand started and then go ahead and put your masters in and tighten it all the way once you have it positioned. But that's what that looks like. I did end up cutting a little bit off to make it fit, so it fits real nice now. It's about, I don't know, about 1.5 inches maybe. That's what got chopped off of that line. And just to point out, the banjo bolt now goes on your master cylinder instead of vice versa. If you do that, you probably most likely will have a banjo on your slave installed right into here. But with this upgrade, you have to reverse the line. So now your this side will be going into your slave cylinder right in that fitting. So I did run the line. There it is. It goes all the way up, and it goes right back to the original hole. I'm gonna end up putting these two Adele clamps. So one will go into this hole, and one we're probably gonna put it in this top one, because if you use the bottom one, the way it runs, this is going to be rubbing on the top one. So you do want to install this Adele clamp on your top to make it go away from this point. And there's a little clip here that holds it pretty nice, and the grommet still has to go in there. So right now I'm going to go ahead and put that slave cylinder in and get everything tightened up and positioned the way it needs to be. And then we're going to start bleeding the clutch. To reinstall this, if you've never done this before, you do want to, you know, this goes against the transmission, where it's a nice flat part. That'll go right onto these two. And you just want to make sure your plunger goes inside this little opening. Let me tighten this up and we're gonna start bleeding it. Yeah, let's do it. I got everything tightened down. I'm just gonna show you guys what it looks like here. Just to let you know, these two plugs that you do see in here, this blue connector and the one below, before they were, I guess, perpendicular to the ABS unit, but since this AN line is now located right at the bottom there, I wasn't able to run them, so I just have to run them around the fitting. But it works. There's enough wire slack where you can do that, so they're still attached to the bracket and they're not loose or anything, not dangling around. AN line is now tight. The banjo bolt is tight. Reservoir is installed. Here's the clamps. Here's what I was talking about. Utilize the upper stud to make it go away from the bottom stud, so you don't have a, so it's not chafing on there. Here's the other clamp. And line runs. There's plenty of room here. I did reinstall the slave. So the slave now is reinstalled. Since I'm here by myself, I'm just gonna do a gravity bleed. And here's that fluid that I was telling you guys about. We'll see how this works. So here we go. The clutch is all bled. We got nice clean fluid in there. I went ahead and reinstalled the plastic, reinstalled the wheel. Now I'm just gonna lower the car back down on the ground. I'm gonna torque the front tire or front rim, and we're gonna go for a drive. Alright, she's all on the ground, and I just got to move all these cars, and then we'll be on our way. Alright, boys, I just got the car out of the garage. It's the first drive. So far, it looks like the clutch releases very early, or grabs very early. Pull out on the main road right now. It's not bad. So far it's pretty consistent, not like I had it before. Seems like the problem that I did have is now gone. The clutch does grab at the same spot every time. Before it was just not consistent at all. But so far I like it. Let's see, we're about to get on the highway, so we're gonna go through a couple of gears. gonna go ahead and upgrade your master, I would definitely recommend going to this wilwood. It feels pretty nice. I mean, we're still gonna go to the track and beat on it and see how it acts when it's hot, but I think it's gonna be all right. Way better than OEM. I think today I'm gonna get some E85 and go have a little fun. It's a good day for some burnouts. I'm just kidding. Back around, check out the marks. Oh, there they are. Not too bad, not too bad. It goes all the way out here. So nice, pretty solid burnout for the first one. All right, everybody, I'm back at the garage. Just came back, got a fresh tank of E85. So now she's at it's boosting at its most, I guess. So just a little, review on this. So well worth the money. Awesome. It works great. Now my clutch is nice and smooth. There's no, there's no surprises. It, grips when it needs to grip. So well worth the money. Like I said, it was like $250 with some change. So if you are doing or replacing your master cylinder, I definitely recommend going with the wilwood setup. And yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it. So now, since that's taken care of, the next thing would be, I talked about my turbo leaking. So I did speak to Precision, and there's a solution for that, and that will be in the next video. I explain what we're gonna do with the turbocharger, and then after that, the motor is gonna come out, and I will replace the case on the transmission. Like I said, this one's cracked, so I'm gonna swap the case over. So, but for this episode, this is it. So stay tuned, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.